Okay.
Alrighty, well, welcome everybody. My name is Larry Deckel. I'm the product manager for HandsOn Connect, and with me today is Melissa and Libby from the team, who will be monitoring your questions and answering things as we go along, or prompting me to answer them. And what you're seeing on your screen right now is a HandsOn Connect 3 instance, my personal one. I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon, and I'm about to take my HandsOn Connect 3 site live on February 15th so that I can start recruiting volunteers for this race, which is in June. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about major additions to the different ways that you can recruit and manage volunteers in HandsOn Connect 3.0. Up to now, HandsOn Connect 3.0 customers have had two volunteer opportunity types. And whoops, let me go to a different screen. I thought I had it queued up here. Oh, I know. I have multiple browsers opened here. Okay, let me go to the one I'm looking for right here. So up to now, we've basically had two opportunity types: date and time specific and individually scheduled. And we've added a little help screen here to help. And right now we're looking at the sharing portal where your partner staff would be creating and managing opportunities, or volunteer leaders. And date and time specific opportunities, and I'm sure all of you know this, are ones where you need a certain number of volunteers. They all volunteer on the same date, at the same start time and the same end time. And you can create one or more occurrences of date and times. So for example, if you need 10 volunteers on Monday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. to volunteer at the Union Rescue Mission to serve meals, that would be a date and time specific opportunity. And date and time specific opportunities always have a maximum number of volunteers, and they also can have one or more occurrences, an occurrence being a date and time an opportunity takes place, and the location where it takes place. Now, as it existed in HandsOn Connect right now, these date and time specific opportunities always had people sign up for the opportunity. In other words, if you had 10 slots, anybody who met the requirements of that opportunity, like the minimum age and so forth, would be signed up, confirmed, and it's the easiest kind of opportunity to use because partners don't need to do anything. They just see that people have signed up and they're done. In HandsOn Connect 2.0, there was a variation on date and time specific, and that was that you could either have sign up or you could have express interest for date and time specific opportunities. So we've added this express interest type to HandsOn Connect 3.0. So the only difference between these are they're date and time specific opportunities, but if it is a sign-up opportunity, it means that the volunteer's connection comes in confirmed status and no additional action is needed by the opportunity coordinator. If, on the other hand, you create a date and time specific opportunity and you choose the registration type to be express interest, then whenever somebody goes to sign up for that opportunity, they see an express interest button and their connection is created in pending status. So, so just to show you examples of these, here is a sign-up opportunity that's date and time specific. You can see that there are multiple occurrences, different dates and times where these take place, and there's a sign-up button, and that exists in HandsOn Connect 3.0 right now. What we're now piloting, one of the two new opportunity types, is something that's been available for HandsOn Connect 2.0 customers. So if you're transitioning from 2.0 to 3.0, you're already familiar with this. But this is a date and time specific opportunity called Mentoring for Troubled Teens. right? And instead of a sign-up button, it has an express interest button. Why would you choose to use this kind of opportunity? Some partners do have date and time specific opportunities, but don't want the volunteers to automatically be confirmed. For example, in this opportunity, we want to make sure that everybody who signs up has done a background check with us. So this enables me to have people say, yeah, I'd like to volunteer on this day, and then I can go into the back end and decide whether or not that volunteer should be confirmed or whether I want to decline them. So if we look at it on the back end of the site here, right, we can see that Virginia volunteer clicked on express interest and her status is pending approval. And it's up to me then to take some action and either approve her or not approve her. If I want to confirm her as a volunteer, I go, oh yeah, Virginia, we know her, she's been background checked, everything's fine. I just click on mark confirmed, and then she'll get an email saying you've been confirmed for this opportunity. If on the other hand, I don't want her to volunteer for one reason or another, I can click on mark declined, say why I'm declining her, for the database to understand why you did that, and then they'll get an email telling them that, sorry, we're not able to use you for this opportunity. It does not state the reason, it just says, we did not confirm you. If I want to, in making that decision, I can click on Virginia's name, which when I do that will open up her contact record so that I can see a little bit about her. So if I wanted to call her before confirming her, I can find her phone number here. I could find her address if I wanted to send her something. Here's her email address if I wanted to send her a form, right? And I can also see her volunteer history with my organization. So I can, right from here, I could confirm her from here as opposed to going back to that grid. Most people have had this contact feature where you can see information about contacts turned on in their instance of HandsOn Connect 3.0. If you haven't got that and want it, just open up a ticket, a support ticket, and say, hey, we'd like partners to be able to read contacts. They can't edit contacts, they can't create contacts, but they can have access to view contacts. Any questions about the difference between date and time specific sign up and date and time express interest?
Okay, Larry, Lynn is asking, she said she had a volunteer manager today who had a project where she needed to gather volunteers for certain projects before scheduling them. And she wanted the group in place before they actually scheduled the opportunity. Which would she use when she doesn't have any time frame yet?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Was that a question someone just asked, or?
Yes, Lynn. Lynn asked, and Lynn, if you want or can unmute yourself, you might be able to express it better to Larry than I can.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
Hi, Larry. I mean, I was referring more to those two. I spoke too soon. I was referring more to the two options where we no longer have the option of to be scheduled. We just have the time and date specific, or I forget the other one.
Individual, right?
Individually
so Lynn,
scheduled. And she was saying, I don't know which one to use here because this is something that I need to gather this group, and then we'll schedule those.
Right. So, yep. And there is an option which I'll show you in a minute, which will be the answer to that question. Okay.
Awesome. Great. Thanks.
And then Thomas had a question as well. So, Thomas, can you unmute yourself?
With the expressed interest, so Thomas's question is, with the expressed interest option, could that have its own auto-triggered message that provides the verified volunteer link and affiliate passcode to process the criminal history check online? So, Thomas, that is something that you would create, right? In other words, you could change the email template for starters, if you have verified volunteers turned on in your instance, And if you're making it accessible to your partners, and you then flag the level of volunteer verification that is needed, all that would be automated for you. I'm not going to go into verified volunteer functionality during this webinar, but if you come to one of the labs, somebody can walk you through that. But it does require verified volunteers to be activated, and then you would have to request that your partners had access to setting a level of verification for opportunities. Okay, alrighty. So that's date and time specific opportunities, and again, I think 2.0 customers are kind of familiar with those. So now let's talk about what's happened to be scheduled. So to be scheduled in HandsOn Connect 2.0 created a lot of problems, and people tried to get it to do a lot of different things, and for the most part, it never quite satisfied things the way we wanted it to. Created a lot of confusion, and partners found it very difficult to figure out how they could schedule volunteers and so forth. And so in HandsOn Connect 3.0, we don't have the to be scheduled, but instead we have individually scheduled, right? So individually scheduled opportunities are used when you have a flexible schedule of when you need volunteers, and each volunteer might be scheduled to attend at a different date and time over an extended time period. In other words, you need volunteers Mondays through Fridays from 9 a.m. till noon, and ultimately, if one volunteer wants to come from 9 to 11 on Monday, and another volunteer wants to come from 10 to 12 on Tuesday, and 3 more volunteers also want to come on 10 to 12 on Tuesday, but somebody else wants to come on Thursday, that's what individually scheduled is for. You're not looking for, I need a certain number of volunteers to all come at the same time, right? But you need volunteers to come and go at the times you do need volunteers, right? And individually scheduled has been available in HandsOn Connect 3.0, and just to review the way that works, so here is an individually scheduled opportunity. It's an after-school reading program for kids, and we basically need volunteers for any time they're available on Mondays from 3 to 4, Tuesdays from 3 to 5, Wednesdays from 3 to 5, and Fridays from 3 to 5. And we just want volunteers to say, yeah, I'm interested in doing this, and individually scheduled opportunities, which we now call individually scheduled with schedule. I'll show you that in a second. You basically define when you can use volunteers, and then when a volunteer expresses interest, right, they say, I want to do it for a specific date and time. In other words, I just want to do it next Wednesday from 3 to 5, or I want to come on a regular schedule. So I actually would like to do this every day, every Monday from 3 to 4. So I'm going to add that date and time, and I'd like to do that from now until the end of March. Okay, and what this will do when I click Express Interest is it's going to actually create all those connections so that I know when the volunteer wants to come in, and then on the back end, all I have to do is confirm them or not confirm them or reschedule them if I choose to. This is better than to be scheduled because it used to be in to be scheduled. You didn't know when the volunteer wanted to come, so you had to call or email them and ask. Here they're already answering that question. And if they were going to come on an ongoing basis more than once, you had to administratively create those connections one by one, which was very time consuming, and most partners just didn't do it. So we're going to let, I'm not sure what happened there. It's this is what happens when you're working on a test data. Oh, it says that this particular volunteer has been rejected by us before, and so it's not letting me do it. I didn't realize whoever I'm logged in as is somebody we've rejected previously. But I'll show you on the back end here. This was after school reading to kids. When I come back here, I can actually see And do I not have any connections for this? Oh, I know. I was going to sign up some new ones. There we go. If I had successfully signed up on the site, I didn't realize I picked a bad person to log in as. I would have seen them here. I would say, show me all my pending connections. Right now, I don't have any. And then I would just put check marks next to their names if I wanted to mark them as confirmed, or I could decline them. Or if I said I had too many volunteers from 1 to 2:15 on this date, right? This is in the past, so it's not really fair, but I can edit the time. I can make changes to the time, and then notify the volunteer. Yeah, I'm going to confirm you, but actually I want to change the time and so forth. And we can email volunteers here. So this is an easier way of working with people who might be working with you on an ongoing basis, and you want to schedule them, and they're telling you when it is they're available, right? You can also administratively schedule volunteers if you want on the back end of the site, right? This has been in 3.0, okay? But it doesn't completely satisfy all the needs that people used to be scheduled before. And now we're going to introduce another variation, right? So if I choose individually scheduled, there are two different registration types. Express interest with schedule, that's what we just looked at. That's what's always been in HandsOn Connect. Or a new option called express interest only. All right, so what are those about? So in express interest with schedule, you define a schedule of times when volunteers are needed, right, which we saw the volunteer can see. Mondays 9 to 5, Fridays 9 to 12, and then volunteers can express interest in the opportunity and propose one or more times that they're available, and then you confirm them or decline them for those times. That's what's already there. What's new is express interest only. And this is used for a couple of things. Sometimes you just want volunteers to say, hey, I'm interested. And maybe your partners do not want to schedule them. Maybe they don't want to use HandsOn Connect to keep track of when the volunteers do and don't come. We know that a lot of partner organizations just want to recruit volunteers, but they may have their own system for doing things. And we found with To Be Scheduled that lots of partners would post a To Be Scheduled opportunity, but would never confirm the volunteer. Worse yet, they might click on confirm, but they didn't put the date and time they were coming. And so volunteers were sometimes scheduled to attend for from January 1st, 2012 to March 31st, 2017, and were totally confused because they were confirmed and it showed a time that made no sense, right? So express interest only simply has a button that says express interest, and then no further action is required of the partner. The volunteer is just notified that, hey, we've told them you're interested, and they'll be in touch if there's anything else you need to do. This also makes it possible to do things we've never been able to do in HandsOn Connect. For example, sometimes we just want to know, hey, I want to get a list of volunteers who are interested in becoming a board member. Or I'm interested in finding, we just had a disaster, and I want to get a list of volunteers who want to get notified whenever we have an opportunity for them to sign up for, right? And there was no way to do that because you couldn't create an opportunity if it didn't have a date and time. To be express interest only does not require you to say volunteers are needed at a certain time. And the volunteers do not tell you a time, they just say they're interested. Another thing this makes possible is like a virtual opportunity. Because a virtual opportunity you do at home, it doesn't take place at a particular time. And there are some opportunities that don't take place at a location, right? Like if I just want to say I'm interested in being notified about disaster opportunities, or I'm interested in becoming a board member, and and I just want to find out who is interested so that I can tell them when there are opportunities, I wouldn't want to post a location because it doesn't take place anywhere and it doesn't take place at a certain time. It's just, hey, I'm interested. So let me show you an example of that new opportunity type. So here's an opportunity that says, notify me of opportunities to assist in Hurricane Alfredo recovery. So we've just had a hurricane, and people immediately want to volunteer, and we want to know who's interested, but at this point we don't have any opportunities for them to sign up for, right? Because there just hasn't been enough response time. This gives me an option of putting something on in search and linking to it on the homepage that says, hey, I'm interested. I want to be part of the recovery efforts, okay? And in the description, you can explain what will happen if they express interest. So here I've said, by clicking on the express interest below, you'll be added to our disaster response mailing list. We'll send you a weekly bulletin with the latest news about recovery efforts, which will have links to actual date and time specific opportunities where we need people, right? So when somebody uses this, notice there's no when we need volunteers. It just says we need volunteers through February 28th. That's how long this opportunity will be available for people to express interest in. When they click on express interest, all it does is it creates a pending connection that you don't have to do anything else with if you don't want to. Okay, so we get a little message saying a notification of your interest has been sent to the opportunity leader. They will contact you soon with additional information. They get an email that says, we've received your request for interest, and we'll be in touch, right? And this opportunity does not show up in upcoming opportunities because it doesn't take place at any time. There's no time for them to go. All they've done is expressed interest, done deal. Right? So what does that mean on the back end of the site? So for here we have that same opportunity, and all it's doing is it shows me the volunteers who were interested. And then if I want to email them with some follow-up instructions, I can do that. I could say, hey, I'm going to send everybody some email about this. Right? And I can use the email functionality that is here in the portal to send them an email saying, hey, no news yet, but we're hoping to have some opportunities posted by Monday. We will send you a link when one's available, right? And you can basically communicate with people in that way, all right? You have the option, if you want, to confirm these volunteers, but you can't confirm them unless you, in fact, create a start time and an end time for that occurrence. If you try to confirm them without that, I'm going to get a message saying there's an error, and it'll say, to confirm this connection, please add a start time and end time. Because you can't confirm somebody to participate if you don't tell them when they're supposed to participate. Okay? So let me go ahead.
Let me ask you this from Thomas while you're on that that thought process. He's asking if the wait list is still active in 3.0 for each of the different types of instances, and does the system communicate in express interest when the opportunity is full, but they can be waitlisted? So obviously in this, there's no such thing as a wait list for express interest only, right?
That's correct. So so let me explain how the wait list works. When you have wait lists are actually active for all opportunity types, and it's based on whatever number you put in maximum attendance, right? And what it counts is the number of confirmed connections. So for a date and time specific opportunity, if you have a maximum of 10 and 10 confirmed connections exist, then people are told they can join the wait list. For an express interest opportunity, if you set a maximum value, and for a date and time specific opportunity, let's say you say 10, it just means as many people as want can express interest, but the waiting list functionality doesn't kick in until you have confirmed 10 people to participate. Because at that point, you're saying, hey, I've got my 10 volunteers. For individually scheduled and for express interest only, right? Because those are submitted in pending status, it doesn't count towards the maximum attendance. We recommend that when you create an individually scheduled opportunity, that you set the maximum attendance to 2,000, okay? Meaning you could confirm up to 2,000 people if you wanted to confirm them. An express interest only opportunity, because you're not likely to confirm those volunteers, even though you can, for the most part, we think that the use case for it is one where you wouldn't. You will never hit a wait list, because if you don't confirm anybody, you never hit that maximum number of confirmed connections. Does that make sense? And does that answer your question, Thomas? So let me show you how we can create this new kind of opportunity. All right. I'm going to create a volunteer opportunity, and if I first hit the page, this is the way it's going to be set. And let's create an opportunity. Are you interested in becoming a nonprofit board member? Okay, that, right? I don't have a board member training scheduled yet, and this goes to the question you were just asking. Who was that? Of what if you don't know when an opportunity is taking place, right? Well, if you don't know that and you just want to find out who's interested in participating and then contact them and tell them you've scheduled them, this would be a good opportunity type to take, okay? So maybe I'm going to have a board member training, but for now, I just want to know who's interested. So I'm going to choose individually scheduled, and I'm going to make it express interest only. And we've put nice little help things in here so your partners can understand what these choices mean, okay? And so then I'm going to put in my description. Let's see, I might have one here. I'm just on another screen grabbing some text to speed up things. All right, so I'm just going to put in interested in becoming a board member. Click on express interest below. We'll notify you when any of our partners are recruiting new board members. Right, that might be one way you do it. We'll also let you know the next time we offer our annual training. Thanks for letting us know of your interest in possibly serving on the board. We'll be in touch when we have more information for you. So I'm kind of setting their expectation about when I'm going to get in touch. Okay, so I select the opportunity coordinator. Now, this is unique to express interest only. You'll notice that there's no longer a requirement to set a location. I can set a location if there is going to be a place eventually associated with this, right? But I don't have to have a location, which makes this ideal if it's a virtual opportunity or something like this that doesn't take place anywhere. Right now, you just don't select a location. It's required for all the other opportunity types, all right? So this is going to be civic and community. I already have all ages selected here. The minimum age, which, by the way, we're going to change the default minimum to 13 in an upcoming release, because 0 doesn't make a lot of sense. I only want 18-year-olds in this case, okay? I happen to have verified volunteers turned on here, so Thomas, if you had verified volunteers enabled for your partners, they would be able to select the minimum required level of verification, and then volunteers would be notified how to get that verification. I'm going to click on Next for my opportunity, which takes place at no location, and all I have to enter is when do I want to start posting it and when do I want to stop posting it, right? So I'm going to post this through the end of May, and that just defines the period of time. Okay, oops, and I'm sorry, I got to go back here one step because I probably forgot something serious. Unless they've changed things since, oh, they've already, so I have asked them to remove maximum attendance for these, and I didn't know they've done that already. It's automatically going to set this to 2,000, so again, the user doesn't have to think about that. You don't have to tell people, hey, for individually scheduled, you want to pick a large number. We've basically automated that, and the developers are working very fast to improve this even after since yesterday. That's new. All right, so here's the date and the period for it, and now this opportunity will be subject to my approval, will be available on the website. It shows up in search. It doesn't show up in the calendar no individually scheduled opportunity shows up in the calendar because they don't really take place on a specific date and time the way date and time specific opportunities do. Okay, and now people can just express interest in this opportunity, and I will get an email as the opportunity coordinator saying, hey, someone was interested, here's their name, their email address, and their phone number, and if I just want to contact them based on that email, I can do that. But there's no requirement to come back in here and mark them as confirmed at all, right? This is the simplest thing for a partner who basically does not want to do anything other than recruit in HandsOn Connect, or doesn't know anything about when they're going to need the volunteers or whatever. Okay. Any questions about how or why you would use express interest only? Another use case that I think exists for it is for creating virtual opportunities. And I don't recall if I've got a live one in here, but basically I created an express interest only, and now of course I won't see it. I did this on another site, that basically said virtual opportunity, sew blankets at home. And then in the opportunity description I said, hey, if you're interested in sewing blankets, here's where you should mail the blankets. Let us know if you're interested, and we will contact you and send you instructions. Right? And that gets me a list of people who want to do that. Right? And I could then subsequently tell them, hey, get your blankets in by January 31st or whatever. Right? So the fact that you don't have to put in a location, right, or dates and times, makes it a very flexible way of just finding volunteers who want to do things that don't take place at a specific date and time at a specific place. Okay. Questions about the opportunity types before I show you one more thing?
I don't see any other questions right now, Larry.
Okay. Are we stunned into silence? Are people excited or confused or happy or don't see that this is something you need? All of those are good answers, by the way.
Thomas is excited.
So here's the thing. These two new opportunity types, date and time only express interest and individually scheduled express interest only, are now available to HandsOn Connect 3.0 customers as a pilot. We're not going to push this out to everybody because we think you should have the opportunity to notify your partners, and Melissa has sent you a little letter suitable for telling your partners what these four opportunity types are so that they can see that. You could update the home page that partners have and let them know, or give them a link to a document or whatever, right? That's on this home page here. But we didn't want to just spring this on somebody where their partners weren't prepared, okay? If you would like to have these two new opportunity types added to your instance of HandsOn Connect, open a ticket in Zendesk in the support center and say, we would like to get the two new opportunity types, and then we will enable this in your organization. Part of doing that is we will also make these opportunity types available in your volunteer opportunity wizard, and it will be updated. So it's a little different on the back end of the site, but for example, if I wanted to create an express interest only, okay, so I'm going to create one here using the wizard, all right. This is sew blankets at home virtual opportunity, all right. All the instructions for what to make, where to send it, right? And I put that in the description here. Okay, this is going to help the homeless, all right. I'm going to choose to show that. It is a project. It is not disaster related. I don't care what age they are because they're doing it at home. I'm going to make it individually scheduled. We have put that same help tip over here just in case you need it. All right. And when I choose individually scheduled, it's now going to ask me, is it express interest with schedule or express interest only? And there again, the help tip is here about what those two schedule types are. So I want this to be express interest only. And if I don't want it to take place at a location, on the back end, you have to choose a location called no location, because there isn't an option in the wizard to not put in a value. Okay, so you choose no location, or you could put it at a location, and then I want it to start appearing here, and we're going to do this through the end of the month, and I click next, and I'm done. So I've submitted this. All I need to do is publish it. I could go in and clean up the description if I wanted. I'll click on publish, and then it is going to be available for people to sign up. I'm just going to click on this and hope it's already there. Where is that going to open itself? And there it is, my new express interest only, right? And again, all they can do is express interest, and then what you choose to do after that is up to you. You can contact the volunteers or not. If you confirm them, you can set a date and time when they're actually supposed to do it, like you could, and then it would appear in their calendar. So if it was a virtual opportunity and I wanted them to turn in that blanket on the, by the last day of the month, I could set the start date as January 31st at 9 p.m. and the end time at January 31st at 11 p.m. And then it would show up in their calendar, and they'd know that's the day that they're due, right, to send that in.
Larry?
Yep.
Thomas is asking in the wizard after express interest if you can add a new address at that point.
Yes, you can. So are you, for any of these opportunity types, and let me get back to the right place. So let's say I wanted to, let's see, are you asking specifically about like the express interest only? Now I want to add a location? Or just in general, can you change locations?
Yes, in general, when you're in the wizard.
Yep. So after the opportunity has been created, if you wanted to make a change, you would go to the occurrence and edit it. So this is one where I haven't created, this was a no location one, but if it had a location, I could change it, all right? And I can add a new location or select an existing location to any occurrence.
But that's not actually in the wizard itself, right, Larry? That's in the partner portal. If you're in the wizard in Salesforce.
Oh, on the back end of the site?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that you would just do it the way we always do it in Salesforce. You just you don't use the wizard in on the back end of Salesforce. But if I wanted a different location for this, I could click on Edit.
Edit the occurrence. Okay.
At the occurrence level, and right now there isn't a location, but I can click on Edit, and I can choose a location. So I could make it at the Trodco warehouse. And for a virtual opportunity, you might make the location from the beginning where you want the blanket sent, because then they'll be sent that information when you confirm them.
And Larry, Susan's asking if an opportunity can be edited subsequent to creation to change it from express interest to sign up or vice versa.
Okay, the answer to that is no. Once a volunteer opportunity is created, that opportunity type cannot be changed. And the reasons for that are very complicated, because each one of these opportunities actually handles connections in different ways and handles occurrences in different ways. And so and all of the rules that determine, that this opportunity type only has one occurrence and so forth are all set when you first create the volunteer opportunity. So if you want to change, right, and this happened to me today, I accidentally created something as sign up and I meant to make it express interest. I just made the one that I erroneously created as sign up inactive and then recreated it as express interest. But you can't change them in midstream. That would affect every connection that was already there, for example. So no, it's just not possible. Okay. Any other questions about these new opportunity types? I'm hoping that some of you think this is something that would be useful for you and your partners. I think this is something that partners have been clamoring for a long time, which is the ability to simply list a volunteer opportunity and not be and find out who's interested and not have to take any further action. And if you would like these two new opportunity types added, open a Zendesk ticket and we will let you know when it has been activated in your instance. And Melissa will also send you, if you don't already have it, sort of a sample document to send to your partners that, with the messaging that says, hey, good news, there are now 4 opportunity types, here's what they are, here's what you, and it's just a slightly longer explanation than the help tips that are in the partner portal, giving them ideas of, you could use this to create a virtual opportunity, you could use this to just find out who's interested, and so on and so forth.
And Larry, Melissa is asking if questions can be asked in the individually scheduled volunteer opportunities.
So it currently is not possible to add custom questions to individually scheduled opportunities. The reason for that is for individually scheduled with a schedule, someone is actually creating, can create 30 connections at once. And so the question then would be, if you ask someone a question, where would the answer go? Because answers are associated with connections, and you wouldn't want to produce 30 connections with 5 answers apiece, and so forth. And so it's never been possible for individually scheduled opportunities to ask custom questions. That said, I think it is possible, but not currently, for custom questions to be added to express interest only, because only one connection can be created. I will make a note to myself to have that added as a future functionality. It's not something that's there right now. There are a number of things that, as we're exploring this new opportunity type, that we think would be useful to add to make it more powerful and more useful for partners, like the ability to export a report of who are the volunteers who expressed interest. All of this is in the works and will come in future releases, but this is sort of the beta version or the pilot version of this new feature, and we will continue to improve it, and we're very open and interested in your ideas. The fact that this has been implemented is a result of all the feedback we've gotten from people about, hey, I need our partner wants to be able to do this and there's no way to do it. We're trying to get you out of telling partners, well, you can hack this by doing such and such and trick the system. We want people to be able to do what they need to do to manage volunteers in the way that they want to manage them, and that's our goal in HandsOn Connect 3.0. We hope this is a big step to delivering functionality that many of you have asked for. All right.
Larry,
any final questions?
Check the chat box, Larry, because Thomas is talking about a team captain answering questions once for an entire team. Some functionality that you may understand better than I do. He's saying he uses the functionality for all their opportunities in 2.0.
Yep. So Thomas is asking about when a team captain creates and signs up a team for a date and time specific opportunity, it asks questions, but it only asks the questions, the answers to those questions are associated just with the captain. And that is the case. And the reasoning is similar, because otherwise the captain would have to answer questions. Let's say you had 5 questions you asked in the opportunity. Then the captain, in order to sign up a team, would have to answer those questions 5 times for himself. Then the system would have to say, okay, and for this team member, what are the answers to these 5 questions? And for this team member, what are the answers to the 5 questions? And so it currently in team functionality, questions are only asked to the team captain. And I realize that if you want to say, hey, what are people's t-shirt sizes? What's your t-shirt size? You don't get a t-shirt size for each person that way. But it's just not possible while signing up a team to ask questions repeatedly for each team person. It would make sign up way too complicated. If you come to lab, and I'm there at Tuesday Labs, I have a lot of great ideas of ways to handle those kinds of questions. When a team captain is signing up as a team, or if you do need an answer from every person, then just turn off teams for that occurrence. And then every individual will have to connect themselves and answer those questions. And there's a few other tips I could give you, Thomas. Come to one of my Tuesday labs. Any other questions? And you're right, Thomas. I mean, that is the other way to do it, is instead of saying, what is your t-shirt size, you make the question, what is your t-shirt size? And if you are signing up a team, please list the t-shirt sizes for how many t-shirts you need of each size for all your team members, right? And make it a text box instead of a pick list. And then they could tell you, I need 5 small, 3 large, and 12 extra large. Yep, I do that myself. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Lots of great things coming down the line for HandsOn Connect 3.0. Hope you enjoy this new functionality, and those of you who opt into starting to use these new opportunity types, we are very interested in your feedback. When we feel that these work completely smoothly and address everybody's needs with these, we will make them widely available to everyone. Or at any point, people can request to have these enabled for them. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you at a future webinar or in labs. Oh, and by the way, I should announce, starting, is it next Monday, Melissa? We're increasing the number of labs from 5 a week to 8 a week at a variety of times. This is because we now have international customers, and we want to make things earlier in the day and later in the day. So the new lab schedule is available in the forums, and there are more chances for you to come in and get your questions answered.
Yep, you're right, Larry. There's also a lab specifically that will be on Thursday afternoon, I think in this time slot, that is for nonprofit success pack questions and support on that functionality. So that's another reason that we were increasing the number of labs.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Melissa, you can stop the recording.
Thank you.